My boyfriend, Brandon, was desperate to claw his way into elite social circles, and insisted we go to that high-end club. I wanted to refuse, but his eyes were red as he swore it was his one big break. The moment we entered the VIP room, his childhood sweetheart Tiffany, draped in designer labels, sneered. "Brandon, is this your girlfriend? She looks awfully familiar. Isn't she one of the dancers here? Last week I saw you giving a lap dance to some old man. You were down to a G-string, but I admit you have a good figure." She finished, then feigned regret, covering her mouth. "Oops, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. The room of rich kids burst into laughter. How much for a dance? Give me one, too." Brandon's face turned crimson, then pale with humiliation. He pointed at the door and told me to get out, but I just slowly settled onto the sofa, watching Tiffany with a smirk. "It is perfectly normal I look familiar, after all. Your father was practically on his knees begging me for an investment last week. Also, this club is the least valuable property in my portfolio." To even enter the Summit Club, Brandon had spent half a year's salary. Standing before its gilded doors, his palms were damp with sweat. He gripped my hand, his hold so tight it almost hurt. "Arya, once we're inside, just smile and keep quiet." He instructed me again, his voice trembling. "We can't afford to offend anyone in there. Don't you dare embarrass me." I frowned, trying to pull my hand free, but he tightened his grip even more. "I know you don't like these kinds of places, but this is about my future." Brandon's eyes were red, his words pleading. "If I can just get in with Chad, I can secure that construction project, and we won't have to be stuck in our cramped studio, surviving on ramen anymore." Seeing him so tense and yet so excited, I swallowed the words I was about to say. What I wanted to tell him was that I already had a membership card here, one of those founders' black cards that didn't require any top-ups. As for Chad, I'd had him thrown out last week for smoking in a private room. But before I could speak, the doorman had already pulled open the grand doors. The moment the doorman saw me, his face went white. He instinctively began to bow and greet me. My gaze chilled slightly. I subtly raised a finger to my lips, signaling him to keep quiet. He reacted fast, stopping mid, although the hand holding the door still trembled. Brandon was too busy taking deep breaths and composing himself to notice anything amiss. Brandon inhaled deeply, straightened his back, plastered on an obsequious smile, and pulled me inside. Pushing the door open, the room was thick with smoke. The music throbbed. A dozen or so impeccably dressed young men and women were sprawled on sofas, the coffee tables laden with expensive liquor. "Is this Brandon?" A guy with a buzz cut, sitting in the center, lifted his eyelids, casually glancing at us. It was Chad. Brandon immediately bent low, offering a box of cigars he'd clearly prepared, and even moved to light one for him. "Chad, hi. We met at the bar last time." Chad didn't take the cigar. He just scoffed, his gaze sliding past Brandon and landing on me. In that instant, I saw a flicker of confusion in his eyes. After all, I'd worn the same icy expression when I had him kicked out last week.